Most of our daily decisions aren't reached through logic. They are triggered by psychological shortcuts that bypass the conscious mind entirely. Take David. He's a professional who prides himself on his rationality. He believes every choice he makes, from the coffee he buys to the way he leads a meeting, is a product of his own independent will. But David is being guided by social scripts he didn't write. From the moment he steps into the office, his environment is filled with subtle cues designed to elicit specific, predictable responses. This works because human nature has a structural vulnerability. We are hardwired to prioritize social harmony and quick cognitive processing, creating a backdoor that can be used to navigate around our critical thinking. Understanding these hidden levers is the only way to see the forces currently directing David's day, and the first step toward regaining control. It starts with an interaction so small it feels meaningless. A colleague hands David a pen to sign a document, or asks him to step over here to look at a screen. David complies without a second thought. This is the first rung of a yes ladder. By securing agreement to a series of tiny, physical requests, a manipulator builds a momentum of agreement within David's brain. After David has said yes to 3 small things, his brain shifts into a state of cooperative ease. At this point, refusing a much larger request feels socially abrasive and internally inconsistent, even if that request goes against his better judgment. Compliance is built on this inertia. By the time the real objective is revealed, the target has already practiced the habit of saying yes. In a negotiation, the most effective tool isn't a better argument, it's absolute silence. When a proposal is met with a blank stare and a long pause, the environment becomes heavy. This silence triggers a localized panic. Most people feel an urgent, emotional need to repair the social tension, often by talking themselves into a compromise they never intended to make. Another tactic is the illusion of choice. Instead of asking for a single outcome, the manipulator offers 2 options, both of which serve their specific goal. The brain focuses on picking the better option, and the act of choosing provides a false sense of agency. We are so busy feeling in control that we fail to notice the boundaries of the box we've been placed in. These techniques succeed because they target our emotional discomfort rather than our intellect. When our need for social comfort is triggered, our analytical reasoning takes a back seat. Behavior change follows a predictable 3-step cascade: perception, context, and finally, permission. If you can shift how someone sees a situation and the environment they are in, you unlock the final step, their internal permission to act. Context is the most powerful part of this model. It dictates what we believe is allowed. We don't act based on our values. We act based on what the current setting tells us is normal. This was demonstrated during a fire at a Manchester department store in 1979. Despite the smoke, many customers in the restaurant didn't run. They died in their seats, waiting to pay their bill. They hadn't received the social permission to leave, and the context of being a customer overrode their survival instinct. If a manipulator can control the context of an interaction, they can make almost any action feel like the only correct thing to do, silencing the brain's natural alarm systems. These external tactics are only half of the story. They rely on an existing set of instructions already running inside David's head, written by his 8-year-old self. This is the childhood development triangle. As children, we develop rigid patterns to secure safety, make friends, and earn rewards. If a child learns that compliance equals safety, that script doesn't just disappear, it moves into the background. When a colleague hands David that pen, they aren't just using a sales trick. They are tapping into a decades-old survival program. David's inability to say no or endorse silence is an adult body executing a child's plan for social safety. We aren't being manipulated because we are unintelligent. We are being manipulated because we are carrying emotional defense mechanisms that have become obsolete. This vulnerability is deepened by our biology. The human brain evolved in tribes, and it treats social exclusion as a physical threat. In scans, the brain's pain centers react to isolation exactly as they would to a physical injury. This leads to learned social helplessness. When we've been rejected, the brain preemptively isolates itself to avoid more pain. This creates a state of desperation that makes us even more likely to fall for psychological traps in exchange for a sense of belonging. Breaking this cycle requires more than just knowing the tricks. It requires us to name the childhood fears as they arise and to recognize when our autopilot is trying to protect us from a social discomfort that isn't actually dangerous. We operate as a collection of reactions until we identify the scripts. The moment you understand why you are about to comply is the moment you stop being a passenger in your own life.